Shut the fuck up! My fucking wife is watching television!
Enough. You guys remember that time when Capcom made a Gundam Wing fighting game? No, you don't. You weren't even fucking alive because most of you were really young. And I'm an old man. Thank you, Servant, for renewing your membership. Says, things about to get insane. Also 11 months. Nice. It is very nice. Thank you for the support, my friend. And yeah, the beard is coming back. And the beard is coming back early because I am way too fucking lazy to shave. And I just kind of felt like growing it back. I don't know why. I've just been kind of in one of those moods. And let's be honest, like the whole like laziness of shaving, like whenever I have the beard, all I have to do is clean up a little bit right here, clean up all the way down here, and we're good. We're kosher, right? So, and I don't particularly care that like I'm going gray. Like there was some dude who said like I talked some shit about Destiny because Destiny sucks, and one of his fans was like, "Oh, you're balding, so you got nerfed in life." I'm like, dude, the guy you're defending is like 4'8", and I don't mind going bald. That's the thing. I don't mind getting older. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's one of those things where, like, that's just part of life. But the thing about getting older is that what we're talking about today is a familiar topic for me, because if I remember right, I covered these guys when I worked for Blistered Thumbs. Now, obviously, the articles wouldn't exist anymore because, Blistered Thumbs doesn't exist anymore. But, it's from my game journalism days. I remembered that. And I'm like, are these the people that I think that they are? Servant throws in $10, says, I'm old, only 1 year younger. This is me seeing things play out again. Also, Phase Connect has had no real scandals so far that I recall. We'll talk about VTuber stuff later. Let's not jump ahead here. Is Feminist Frequency back again? Worse. A group that they supported, from what I remember. But what, in my opinion, a worse entity, because these guys have actually had an effect before. Because this is not the only time that these guys have ever... Oh, thank you, Servant. He just gifted 5 memberships. So you guys in there enjoy those. Looks like Kobold, JC, Edward Enigma, Regimania, and Brian Atkinson got one. So enjoy that. So... what we're talking about is a group called Collective Shout, but there's something I brought up here. Is there a way that I could turn this on dark mode? Is there anything like that on this website? I feel like an absolute fucking monster. Alright, this is gonna hurt your eyes, guys. I do apologize. But there is a word that we need to look at. It's the word promote. And this is important because the definition of this word is something we're going to go over a lot today. Because, am I going to go talk about the Fair Access to Banking Act? I don't know anything about it, Liquid Operator, so I really can't comment on it. So I'll be approaching this from a different angle. But, anyway, promote specifically is the word that I'm going to be focusing in on here, because this is the argument that the group we're talking about is making, and we're going to notice that there is a massive hypocrisy with them in regards to promoting, and how they will ignore the messages of some pieces of art, but not ignore them in other places, so on and so forth. So, promote. This is the dictionary definition, as you can see, dictionary.com right there. We're going to read through all the definitions real quick. So, to help or encourage something to exist, flourish, or to further it. Example given. To promote world peace. Definition number 2. To advance in rank, dignity, position, etc. Antonym is demote. Education. To put ahead to the next higher stage or grade of a course or series of classes. Number 4. To aid in organizing, like business undertakings. Number 5. To encourage the sales, acceptance, etc. of, especially through advertising or other publicity. And then 6, informal, to obtain something by cunning or trickery, to wangle. Now here's the thing. This definition, number 1, and this right here, number 5, are the most prevalent to what we're talking about. So what we're talking about today, if you can't tell by the title of the video, is a group called Collective Shout. Now, what Collective Shout is they are an Australian feminist group. Masquerading as Christian. They are not Christian at all. And we'll get into that here in a bit. But they are... they're full of it, basically. And the last big time that they have had success as a group was they were able to get Australian Target stores to stop selling Grand Theft Auto. It was either 4 or 5. I want to say it was 5. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at the lady that's in charge of it. And we're going to, when I talk about the fact that they're fake Christian, I'm going to, give you some evidence as to why I very much believe that. So we'll start with the head of collective shout. Her name is Melinda Tankard Reist. So let's read this article real quick. I'm not going to. I'm not going to try to spend too much time on it. I'm just going to run through it so we have an idea of who we're talking about, right? So Melinda Tankard Reist is an Australian writer, speaker, blogger, and media commentator. She describes herself as an advocate for women and girls and a pro-life feminist. Her campaigns to ban X-rated films have gained national attention in Australia. Well, that's being very generous. She's the founder of Collective Shout, a non-profit organization best known for leading a successful campaign to block artist Tyler the Creator from touring in Australia due to lyrics considered misogynistic, as well as the removal of multiple Steam games allegedly depicting rape, incest, and child abuse. And the most important part of this comes down here when it comes to music and things of that nature. But let's just kind of go through, like, after she founded Collective Shout in 08, like, the stuff that they've done. So, in 2013, they protested the Lingerie Football League being put out there on 7 Network, which I'm guessing, yeah, it's an Australian channel, saying it is sexist and demeaning to all women. All women. Folks, I didn't know that all women participated in the Lingerie Football League. That's news to me. I'm pretty sure it's just like athletic underwear models, from what I remember. Admittedly, I didn't watch it. It's not really my thing. But just all women? All women. I take issue with the wording there, but then again, that's the editor in me that sees that and goes, wait a minute. So, in 2017, Rice wrote in ABC's Religion and Ethics column, criticizing the adult erotica series 50 Shades. Collective Shout stated, "This is not entertainment. This is not sexy. This results in serious harm to women. And in the worst case scenario, murder." What? Now hold on a minute. So we're going from a book about S&M, which I've never participated in, but I do know people that have. And the whole point of it is not to take someone beyond what they can't handle in regards to pain that is translated to sexual pleasure. That's the whole gimmick. It's not something that I support. It's not something I would encourage, or anything like that. But, again, having spoken with people who have done it, that is a big part of it. So, where the fuck does the murder come from? Because if I remember right, I don't think anybody's ever been killed over a copy of 50 Shades of Grey. In fact, is anyone even killed in the book? I don't think so. Like, so where does this come from? Who was murdered over this? What? So, the same year, the group protested an application for a Geraldton hotel to employ skinny barmaids. According to the Geraldton Guardian, Roper said the treatment of women as sexual entertainment was linked to violence against women. Again, what? How? Wait, where has there ever been proof that the two are interlinked? Now, I'm not saying that these things don't happen, mind you, and thank you for $5 super chat, or servant, goodness. Thank you for the $5 super chat. It said, who let these vile women run amok like this for this long? We'll get to that. But thank you for the money. So, that, like, I say this as somebody who has been a bouncer at a bar and security at a hotel and did one night as a security guard at a strip club. The last one I regret ever doing, and I would never do it, and I would never recommend it to anyone ever. It is sleazy. It's classless. I hate it. But the fact of the matter is that I've had, like, one of my old drinking buddies was a stripper. And she would tell me stories, and the only time she was a stripper for years, and she said that, like, people only got violent with her once. The problem that they would have is they would get too handsy, because the for those who don't know, the rule in a strip club is don't touch the girls. You do not touch them. You don't do that. And that was what, that one night I worked on that, it was basically, they told me, keep your eyes on everyone's hands. If someone touches the girls, you go up there and clean their fucking clock. Which there was one guy that I had to tell, because it's just this Indian dude who had a little bit too much to drink, and he went reaching for a girl's ass. I took 3 steps forward, put my hand in front of him, and I said, "It's a nice view. You don't get to touch it. You do that again, I'm going to clock you and throw you out of this fucking club." And then he stopped. So, but that's the rule. But the fact of the matter is like, I don't recall, like, ever seeing any statistics that show that the increase of these things is an increase in violence. Like, are Hooters restaurants really known for being violent? I don't think so. Or, what's the other one? Tilted Kilt, which is basically Hooters but better, like, everywhere. Except for the Buffalo Wings. The Buffalo Wings are better at Hooters, but everything else about Tilted Kilt is better than Hooters. But Tilted Kilt, I've gone to Tilted Kilt several times. I've never seen anyone get violent. Ever. Like these things, like, it's not computing. Right? And so, I don't know where they're getting this. And this is kind of a problem that we see with groups like this, is that they will just they'll just say things. But there's an argument that they rely on that I'm going to get to when we start talking about the rap music thing. Because there's some hypocrisy here as well that we're going to skip over. But they also campaign against advertisements in Australia, such as the Honey Burdette lingerie ads in 2017. Rice wrote in her Religion and Ethics column that year that Australia should implement advertising standards similar to those in France. Why would you ever want to mimic the French in anything? In 2020, fast food restaurant KFC apologized after Collective Shout criticized their television advertisement as containing sexist grooming and a regression to tired and archaic stereotypes where young women are sexually objectified for male pleasure. However, that ad was not ruled in violation by Australia's Ad Standards Bureau. Now, I don't know what advertisement it is. Let's look at the Reuters thing. Let's see if we can find it. 15-second ad has been running on television for the past 3 weeks, also posted on the YouTube channel. Shows a woman dressed in a short playsuit checker... This is Reuters. Short playsuit check her bottom. Is this a Freudian slip? What the fuck? Anyway, and adjusts her breast. They're supposed to ask you, motherfucker, where are your editors? As she looks at her reflection in the window of a parked car. So wait a minute. She's adjusting her outfit so she looks sexy. Have you never been around women? Ever? I remember I was working with with someone at a hotel. This cute girl named Megan. And one time, I came in early. It was like the tail end of her shift, and we were talking in the back. And one thing that I noticed that she did when she got up, when somebody rang the bell at the front, I'm like, do you want me to go get it? And she's like, you're not clocked in, you can't do it. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever, I'll just stay back here. And she adjusts her clothing so that her cleavage is out there. And I'm like, it's a woman up there. Like, you don't really need to make all those adjustments. And she goes, yeah, but what if there's a cute guy? Women care about looking attractive. In what world don't they? Like, see, folks, I don't know if some people have just not caught on to this. But the fact of the matter is that what we have to do as a race of people, as humans, is we have to reproduce. And part of that is being sexually appealing to the other gender. So, what the fuck? Like, this is not abnormal. Car's window rolls down to show two young boys staring at her breast before she smiles and says, did someone say KFC? And says it was garnered 60,000 views with 160 dislikes and 700 likes on YouTube. And it says, we apologize if anyone was offended by our latest commercial. Our intention was not to stereotype women and young boys in a negative light. It's not a negative light. That's funny. Like, you have to be perpetually offended to get offended at that. So we go down here to rap music. 2013, the group attempted to have Tyler, the Creator's Australian visa revoked and his shows canceled, in which they were supported by MP Alex Hawke. Now, one thing about Collective Shout, somebody pointed this out on Twitter, a lot of its members have been, like, in the Australian Parliament. So they're connected in the Australian government, like, big time. Which is part of the reason as to why they're able to have, like, the success that they have in Australia. It's because they're very well connected. But one member of Collective Shout reported Tyler, the Creator, to the police on the grounds of verbal abuse. What? He said he believed he had been barred from entering Australia, even as touring company stated that while the government had raised issues with his visa application, they hadn't refused it. His tours to Australia were, however, reportedly cancelled in 2015 due to conflicts with Collective Shout, so they successfully censored an artist. The group also unsuccessfully lobbied for American rapper Snoop Dogg's visa to be revoked. They stated Snoop Dogg's lyrics glorify violence against women, which puts all women in danger. His behavior also contradicts our national plan to reduce violence against women. I'm sorry, what? Snoop Dogg. Rolling down the street, smoking, sipping on gin and juice. Laid back, with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. I'm sorry, what? Like, I don't know who the fuck you're trying to kid here. I kind of want to get to the point, though. Oh, they didn't mention it here. Let's look up another definition, then. Glorify. To cause or to be or treat as being more splendid, excellent, etc. than would normally be considered. To honor with praise, admiration, or worship. Extol. Now, admittedly, I haven't listened to a lot of Tyler, the Creator. I haven't listened to a ton of Snoop Dogg in a long time. I have listened to Eminem, though, because they campaigned for him to be banned from Australia. Doesn't he have a song called Love the Way You Lie, which is about how abuse against women is bad? Am I wrong? Isn't that the track he did with Rihanna? Or am I misremembering? I could be misremembering, because admittedly, I haven't listened to a lot of Eminem after the Eminem show. But, like, the fuck? Yes, he did. Okay, fair enough. Again, that's what I figured. Some say it was a dig at Chris Brown. Probably. I used to make this joke all the time 10 years ago. I said, yeah, did you know Rihanna and Chris Brown are doing a new song together? It's called Stockholm Syndrome. But, and not to mention, like, Eminem dotes on his fucking daughter. So, like, what the hell? I mean, part of the reason that he got into the rap beef with Machine Gun Kelly was over his daughter. Like, I don't know where the fuck this shit is coming from. So, genuinely curious as to where the logic is here. I don't think it exists. But let's talk about something that is wild about all of this. So what recently happened is that this group was involved in an open letter campaign demanding credit card companies and PayPal block payments for 500 video games found on Steam, a game distribution service. The group said the games had appeared in searches for the term rape, or otherwise contained themes of incest, sexual violence, and or child abuse. The campaign was co-signed by other groups and individuals, including those from the U.S.-based National Center on Sexual Exploitation, also formerly known as Morality in Media, a very censorious group going back many years ago. Exodus Cry, which they were the ones behind I actually spoke with one of the heads of that organization when I worked at RT. They were the ones who had made the big push for Pornhub to be held accountable for child trafficking, and it seems like they've gone off the fucking deep end. Philia and the Coalition Against Trafficking in Women Australia. After this, hundreds of games were reportedly removed from Steam. Collective Shout had also previously campaigned against other video games, including Detroit Become Human and No Mercy. I don't know about No Mercy. What was the big one with this? Oh yeah. Okay, I've heard of this. I have heard of this one. I never really dove into it, but I have heard of that. But Detroit Become Human? Yeah, Elian. I'm on the same page with Elian. Detroit Become Human. Due to its depiction of child abuse and violence against women. Oh, you mean the game that portrays violence against women and children as a bad thing? And the whole point of you playing as one of the fucking androids in the game, which, one thing I should mention, I own Detroit Become Human. I am by no means a fan of Quantic Dream. I think a lot of their games suck, honestly. Omicron's fucking stupid. It's trash. I do like Baron Von Teapot's fucking ludicrous adventure, also known as Indigo Prophecy, because it's just so batshit insane. It's just kind of like, wow, this game is a fucking acid trip. I thought that Heavy Rain could have been good, but it really wasn't. And then, Detroit Become Human, in my opinion, is very inoffensive. But it did have some interesting ideas in it. And one of them was the female android you play as. Her whole gimmick is about saving a child from an abusive father who had abused the mother as well. Like, abuse is not... It's never treated as a positive within Detroit Become Human. Like, ever. It doesn't promote it. It doesn't say this is a good thing. It never treats the abuse of anyone as a positive thing. Ever. It's like the whole, like, fucking David Cage might as well be holding a giant neon sign as the behind the scene as it's going on that's saying, it is bad to abuse children. The fuck? Like, I'm mystified by that. I'm genuinely mystified. And this is one of my biggest problems with, and why I brought up the word promote, is this word gets used way too much by groups like this, and they don't actually think of what the definition is of what promotion means. Again, promote is to state that, like, you're trying to portray this as something that is good and should have time invested in it. That is basically the long and short of what the word's definition is. And, like, Detroit Become Human does not promote those things as good. It does not, like, there's a distinct evil path where you can do evil things, and it's, you know, it's basically the evil path. It never tries to, you know, convince you of anything otherwise. You know, it's pretty, like, Detroit Become Human is pretty morally black and white, to be honest with you. And, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I wonder what the fuck you're talking about. Like, genuinely. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But here's where it gets fucked up. So this is the head of this group. I'm going to let you guys just read this for a second. I'm going to let it linger. I'm going to just let it linger. So, I want to put something from an artist's perspective here. I am a writer of fucked up things. I am a horror writer on top of superhero stuff that I do, right? One of my artists is actually in chat. I want to see more from him, but he's also working on another book. Bogdan, say hi, because I see you in here. Bogdan is actually working on a vampire book with me, and he can co-sign. I write some pretty fucked up shit. I do. One of my biggest inspirations is Kentaro Miura. One of my other biggest inspirations is Go Nagai. I really, really enjoy writing crazy shit. I mean, there's literally art behind me of a decapitated demon. with its brains leaking out of its skull. See where I'm pointing right there? That's its brains leaking out the side of its fucking skull. A nice little detail from Preston Acevedo, my artist on that book. So the thing about it is, and Vol Titan Dev says in here, as a game dev myself, I hate it when moral busybodies come in to tell me, my fellow devs, what kind of games we're allowed to make and sell. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as a comic book writer and as an author. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I enjoy writing those things. Am I of the opinion that rape and murder are good things? No, I'm not. But art is about expression. Here's a really good example. One of the most fucked up movies I've ever watched is Come and See. Come and See, like Schindler's List, is one of those films that they show you unrestrained how fucking evil the Nazis were. It's like these were not just a military following orders. These motherfuckers were evil. You know? But the point of the imagery is to show you how evil it is. And in stuff like a video game, let's actually use video games and comics specifically, because we got a game dev in the chat, and then you got me here as a comic book writer. We look at and we show things that are messed up because they're part of the plot. But it's not an endorsement, you know. It's just the story as it unfolds. That's it. It's a portrayal. Portrayal and endorsement are two completely different things. And on top of that, no one ever gets hurt. Like, not a real person does not get hurt. There are no ties whatsoever to real life violence whatsoever from these things being created. They have attempted to prove it several times in the past. It has failed every single time. If you don't believe me for whatever reason, you can go talk to my friend Aiden Paladin. Aiden and I have known each other for a very long time. She has actually done the legwork on this. She actually helped me with research that I did for a conservative website I wrote an article for, a guest article, where I debunked Matt Walsh on this exact topic, because Matt Walsh is a fucking idiot when it comes to this sort of thing. But the big thing is that it's not hurting people. There's no evidence it's hurting people whatsoever. Like, no children were harmed in the making of this video game. However, you're gonna sit there as the leader of this group and tell me the film that actually sexually exploited children isn't a problem? Let's go back to the Wikipedia article. Let's read some of her thoughts on Cuties, shall we? A film that literally exploits children. Let's have a look. Rice reviewed the controversial Netflix film Cuties 2020 for both her ABC Religion and Ethics column and for the Christian newspaper Eternity. She described the film as a social critique on what happens when we allow misogynistic, violent, expressionist internet culture to ravage girls, training them to wield their immature bodies as currency. Rice related the film to the activism of collective shout. Oh, lady, that's not smart. In the past 10 years of collective shout, we've met many girls this age who have felt the same pressures. Some have taken inappropriate pics and shared them, sexualizing themselves either out of a sense of obligation or because they have believed that the lie that self-objectification is empowering or liberating. However, certain scenes in the film, she wrote that the complexity here is that in trying to make a serious ethical point about girls and sexuality, the girls may have been used unwittingly, but still inappropriately to a noble end. So wait a minute. You're telling me that it's okay. You're promoting child exploitation by your own admittance. You're saying that this is a good film. You're saying that this film has a reason to exist. But you admit that it's exploitive. Meanwhile, video games and other parts of media that have depictions of things that are completely fictional, where no one gets hurt, those are the problem. Make it make sense. Make it make sense to me. So it's okay, like, so as long as the film is, according to her, anti-exploitation, it's okay to exploit children. That's what you're saying. That in this particular case, them exploiting children sexually is fine because it's for the greater good. I feel like we're dealing with the Tao here. What the fuck? So you're pro-exploitation of children, provided that it fits your goals. That to me is worse than the hypocrisy guys. These are children we're talking about. These are children that were exploited by a French filmmaker. But it's okay, because it fits the message that they want to tell. It's perfectly fine to exploit people so long as it's done for the right message. Meanwhile, video games can also be anti-exploitation, but they're a problem. For example, we just recently saw Ready or Not, which is a very anti-sexual exploitation video game. Because for those of you who have played it and gotten through all the campaign, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the cargo and the spider in the last mission. It is very anti-exploitation. Very anti-exploitation. And that was censored recently. No one got hurt. But that got censored. It was uncompromising in its message. Absolutely uncompromising. That's why I loved the game. And by the way, Detroit Become Not Robot, in its messaging about abuse and things like that, it's very, very open about the fact that it's against it. That these things that are happening are bad, and you should stop the guy doing the bad thing. Which is what I did when I played it, you know. Like, I don't think it's undeniable that video game is anti-abuse. Like, the fuck? And here's what's wild about it. The press are supporting these guys. So, I know that there's people in here from our Foxu friend, Kirsch, right? That are Kirsch viewers. Some of you probably subscribed to my channel after seeing me pop up on her stream before. You know, because I had done that video about Sports Kita going after her. And completely misquoting her and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I stuck up for her. Because she seems like a nice girl. You know, and I think that she's trying to do the right thing in a lot of ways. I disagree with her on some things, but, you know, it is what it is. But they won't come out and say this, but I think it's about targeting content that appeals to straight men. That might be part of it. Because there's a whole thing about it that has to be addressed when it comes to this. But some of you remember from Kirsch and a lot of the things that have gone on with her is good old Anna Valens, aka anal violence. Well, funnily enough, The broken clock was right once of the 2 times that it was per day. And Anna Valens wrote an article for Vice. I have it somewhere here. Here it is. Thank you to the Wayback Machine. Called Group Behind Steam Censorship Policies Have Powerful Allies, and targeted popular games with outlandish claims. One of its allies believes Hunipop should be banned from Steam. And to Valens' credit, and I don't mean to give her you can hear the air quotes there, that much, but they do go into great detail here about the problems that they have. And she goes into detail on their history. And effectively talks about why you don't want to let the camel's nose under the tent. Which, like I said, broken clock twice a day. They talk about Hootie Pop, and things of that nature. And gives context to a lot of claims that they make. For example, let's use this one. Article proceeded to criticize the viral Animal Crossing New Horizons inspired Anka Zone Not Safe for Work dancing meme for using a character from a popular children's video game. Phrasing is misleading. New Horizons was actually most popular with adults in their 20s and 30s. Which, by the way, if you have children that are looking up the Anka Zone meme, you're a bad fucking parent. Period, point blank. They should not be looking that up. And you're the one who's not keeping an eye on your fucking kids. That's on the parents. That's not on Nintendo. That's not on anybody. And it has nothing to do with the actual fucking game. You know? But they go here with, like, the misinterpretations. So, Stop Video Game Detroit Become Human, depicting child abuse and violence against women being sold in Australia. So this is a thing that is a big problem. So what if it's depicting it? So what? I'm trying to find... Okay. Top reviewed films of all time. Let's have a look at what's in them. Right? The Godfather. Violence. Does it promote violence? No. It's usually depicted as a negative. The mob life is not put forward as a positive idea. Schindler's List. Violence, rape, child abuse, fucking, like, Jesus. It is one of the most, like, intense films ever created. When I watched Schindler's List in high school, after I finished watching it, I was shaking. Because I couldn't believe what I just saw. 12 Angry Men, I don't know much about. Life is Beautiful, I don't know much about. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Violence, theft. Neither of them promoted as a positive thing. Shawshank Redemption. It's a prison film. Throw a fucking stone and you'll see something pretty terrible in it. Seven Samurai, a lot of death. The Intouchables, don't know anything about that one. Same with Central Station. Requiem for a Dream, a lot of drug use. The whole thing's about heroin usage and how it, and by the way, how heroin usage is fucking bad for you. Beautiful Mind isn't that bad. Don't know anything about Dog's Tale. Taken! Lot of violence. By the way, also delves into sex trafficking. And guess what? It shows it. Doesn't portray it as a positive at all. It's almost as if the lead character of the fucking film is trying to save his daughter from it. Because it's bad. The Shining. A lot of violence in this one. It's a Stephen King story. Apocalypto. A lot of violence. Gladiator. Ton of violence. Not really portrayed as a positive. The Dark Knight. It's about fucking Batman trying to stop an incredibly violent psychopath. The Pianist. It's about the Warsaw ghettos during World War II. Braveheart. Fuck England. The movie. But a lot of people die in this fucking film and in horrifying ways. And the ending of the film has William Wallace get drawn and quartered. Oh, he gets hanged first, too. I forgot to mention that. It's very violent. But again, it's not portraying it as necessarily a good thing unless it's being used against tyranny. Alien. John Hurt has very bad heartburn. You know, it's like there's a lot of these are violent. I Saw the Devil. This is a really violent movie. Let's see, what else we got in here? Saving Private Ryan, one of the most violent films I've ever watched. One of my favorite movies ever. One of the bloodiest movies, war films of all time. Does not portray violence as a good thing. The Exorcist, greatest horror movie ever made. Sure as fuck doesn't treat being possessed by a demon as a positive. Mirabile dictu, wouldn't you agree? The Green Mile. Wet the fucking sponge, please. Gran Torino. Get off my lawn. Hilarious racism, but it doesn't portray the things that you would think are positive as positive. It's actually about learning to understand the people around you from different cultures. Kill Bill Volume 1. Violence in that is not treated like a positive. The very last scene of the film has the bride quite literally crying in her bathroom, and she can't decide whether or not she's sad or happy that she killed everyone she ever cared about aside from her own daughter. Terminator 2. The whole point is to avert Judgment Day, a nuclear war. Like, fucking... This is something that needs to be understood. Just because something has sex or violence in it does not mean that it's necessarily promoting that as a good thing. You know? Quod nome mihi est? Bonjour. Oh, they say la plume de ma tante first, don't they? But yeah. And this is like the big issue that I have. Like, how in the fuck are you going to sit there and try to tell me that these things are creating these problems? There's no evidence of it. And here's the thing. Like, you will not catch me. Like, we've talked about this before. I'm not a fan of Coomer games. I'm not a fan of things like I don't own Hoonie Pop or anything like that. It's just not my scene, you know? But I will fucking tell you right now, I own a lot of games that are really fucking violent. But what's crazy is like that, like fucking Vice is protecting these people, and Anna Valens actually resigned along several other writers from the website. Just in protest. Because it's fucking crazy. And what makes this whole thing worse, makes it that much worse, they're faking getting threats from people. Check this out. She says here, this is her on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. You are morally bankrupt and destroying civilization. How dare you say gamers are getting off on the sexual torture of women, which they aren't, and kids, makes us violent. Also in my inbox this morning. Now, first off, this is cartoonish. I say this as someone who, and of course she got community noted. I say this as someone who has received death threats. I've gotten a few of them in my life. And each time that it happened, it wasn't from some email. It was usually somebody posing as Muslim, to be honest with you. That's one thing I always found funny about it. But, who the fuck has an email called rape and kill stupid whore women at rapeallwomen.com? Which, by the way, she apparently didn't think that people were going to check to see whether or not the site was registered. By the way, she's trying to register the site today. I kid you not. The day that she tries to do this. This is the source. The domain has been registered at 2:37 a.m. UTC, which is 7:30, basically less than 2 hours ago. The domain didn't exist when she made the post. Meaning, she faked a hate email. She faked a death threat. Now, by the way, I'm going to say this right now. There is the distinct possibility that she has received them. It's possible. I'm not discounting the possibility. But this is clearly fake. And for those of you who don't know, this is, The Boy Who Cried Wolf is a popular thing. But I'm actually not going to use The Boy Who Cried Wolf. I'm actually going to tell you guys about a story about me growing up. So, everybody knows that age when little girls realize that if they push a lot of air out of their lungs and adjust their vocal cords to a certain frequency, they can scream. And then people will come running. Now here's the thing. My dad, who, again, was a drill sergeant, well, assistant drill sergeant, in the Army, not to mention, in the Army at the tail end of Vietnam. So this is the 70s we're talking about. Dad walks up to my little sister. I won't mention which one because my nieces and nephews do watch my streams. And they don't need to know whether or not their mom or dad or their mom did it. Though they could probably figure it out if they think hard enough. But my dad walks up to my little sister and says, "Stop." Because my dad literally got up from where he was writing a sermon and bolted to where my little sister was screaming. What was wrong? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She does it again. Dad walks into the other room, puts her over his knee, and spanks her several times and says, "Do not scream if you are not in trouble. Ever." And then I asked my dad, because I didn't get it. I was just a kid. I'm like, "Dad, why'd you do that?" And he goes, "Because if she keeps screaming whenever nothing wrong is happening, how am I ever going to know when something wrong is happening? Because I can't trust her." He's like, "It's the same principle as lying. If you scream and make a big noise, it's like crying wolf." And that's effectively what this lady's doing. Is she's crying wolf. And now none of her statements are truthful. And then, I said, like, the website's unregistered. You're faking an email to try to get sympathy. So yes, you are morally bankrupt. And then I got her again. It's like, because she says here, "Me and my team subjected to a barrage of rape and murder threats. Response: that didn't happen, or did, but you made them do it. Gaslighting 101. No, it's not gaslighting. The email you posted is from an unregistered domain, and beyond that, the name is beyond parody. So yes, you faked it. And not only did you fake it, you did it to try and deflect from your group's censorious agenda. You're against freedom of speech and freedom of expression." Is my dad a rabbi? No, Dad was a preacher. I did not grow up in a Jewish family. I am a Jew. I am of the tribe, but it's only because my mother is Jewish, my birth mother. I didn't grow up in a Jewish household. I was adopted. So yeah, Dad's a preacher. He's a preacher man. I'm a Christian, religiously. To the point where I even have Deus Vult on a cross tattooed on my arm. I actually have another tattoo planned on the other arm that I just haven't had the money for. That's a similar design, like, because what this is if you look really close, it's intertwining ichthys, the Jesus fish, all up and down the arm. I have a similar idea for the other arm, but the other one will say Deus Caritas Est, which is God is love, and it's a pair of ideas that I remind myself of on a regular basis, because what Deus Vult means is God wills it. And in the Bible, when it's used in the book of Titus, which is what this is paraphrased from, is the basic idea is that Paul is reminding Titus in his epistles that there is God has purpose for all of us, and that there is a reason that we are here, and that is effectively what this particular phrase means and how it's supposed to be used. So yeah. So yeah, there's no gaslighting here at all. Like there's none. It's you lied about it. You lied about it to try to make yourself look like a victim, and in reality, it just shows, again, between this and the Cuties thing, they don't care. They don't actually care about the abuse of children and the exploitation of children, sexually or otherwise. They don't care about being truthful. Well, that's not very Christian of you, bearing false witness. Now, is it? Melinda. The most Karen name ever. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They're, one of my friend's mom was named Melinda. But it's just typical white lady behavior. It was just fucking white women. God. Annoys the hell out of me. I swear to God. So yeah, I find myself incredibly frustrated by this, just as a creator. I hate moral busybodies, absolutely hate them, and this is why, is that they don't believe in truth, They don't believe in doing what's right. They don't believe in actually protecting people. As by her own admission, it's perfectly fine to exploit children if it's for the message. Her words, not mine. And, you know, I look at this, I'm like, what the fuck? It really, to me, it's vile. It's genuinely vile to see this, you know? Like, genuinely vile. And I hate it. I hate all of it. I legitimately hate all of it. It's just, it's so fucking disgusting. Now, somebody asked earlier, like, what do we do about this? The fact of the matter is that the best thing you can do is to counteract bad information with good information. That is why I fired up this stream, is to encourage people to go out there and put good information out there. Spread the word about the type of piece of shit that Melinda Tankard Rice is. Because she is a terrible person. Flat out show her saying that it's okay for children to be exploited as long as it's for the message. Show people on social media or otherwise that she says she's a Christian, but you show her actions and then juxtapose it to actual scripture, you're going to find that she's unwanting. On top of that, she writes a regular column. If she wants to play the email game, you can play the email game, folks. Because they pay her for that column. She wants to fuck with creators because she disagrees with what they decide to create. Okay, game on. You want to fuck with artists for making money? Okay, game on. You fired the first shot across the bow, lady. I was watching a video by Fat Electrician earlier. Because he is, he's fun. What was it called? It was about, when we attacked the Iranian military in the 80s. We're not gonna watch the whole video. I'm just gonna show you guys what it is, and I will link it. It's got millions of views anyway, but it's really good. It's called the America obliterates half of Iran's navy in 8 hours. And the whole thing is, like, the message is they started it. And this was a proportional, quote-unquote, response. I'm not gonna, like, EFAP it or anything. But, like, look, if you fire the shot across the bow, if you fire the shot at creators as a group, and at fans of these creators, they have every right to respond to you. And they have every right to use the same methods that you used against them back against them. You have every right for a proportionate response. Or a proportional response. Keep it proportional is what I would say. Don't threaten. Don't get too spicy. Anything like that. Be polite. Be professional. Have a plan to kill everyone you meet. You know, General Mattis. One of the cool things that he said but never really lived. Because he was kind of a boomer that really wasn't that great of a commander. But the fact of the matter is that be professional in how you handle it. And get the right information out there. And if she's going to attack freedom of expression, by all means, use information against her. Show the publication that the publications that she's doing columns for, that she fabricated an email and a death threat. That she supports the exploitation of children as long as it promotes the message. As long as it agrees with her. Show these things to people. Let people know who this person is. That's what you do. You don't let up. You just don't let up on them. Be polite, be professional, but it's a fight. You know? And fight to win. And yes, this is a fucking dope-ass background. I really like it. For those who do not know, this is a Salamander's Terminator, specifically of the Fire Drakes, which are their elite first company. Well, there's only Terminators in the first company, but that's what their Terminator company is called, is the Fire Drakes. And they're not the best Terminator company in the Imperium. That goes to the Dark Angels, but they're one of the best. They are one of the most frightening because this is the Salamanders we're talking about. They fine-tune and customize all their shit. So, you know that armor and those weapons are going to be potent, to say the least. I would not want to get stuck on the opposite side of a Salamander's Terminator. That's a bad fucking day. So, and what's fucking wild about these guys? They're assault Terminators. If you start firing at them from range, do you wonder what they'll do? They'll chuck their fucking thunder hammers at you. Like they're Thor. And they're accurate with it. There's a scene where they fight a demon engine in a short story by Nick Kime, where quite literally at a point in the fight near the end of it, they actually just chuck hammers at it to damage it. And they have success with it. They don't kill it, but it's still fucking cool. So yeah. Alright, that's really all I had to say on that topic. But do you guys want me to talk about the V Shojo thing? What's going on there? Yeah, woe Thunderhammer upon ye. Give me a second to I'm gonna get rid of my vest real quick. I don't really need it right now. It's kind of warm in here. But do you guys want me to comment on it? Okay, you guys want my thoughts? Now, one thing I'll say is that if you're not already listening to my podcast On the Grind, you should be. It is available here on YouTube. It is also available on Spotify. In fact, I will link you to it real quick. To the YouTube channel. In fact, I will link you to the waiting room for the next episode. So go ahead and subscribe over there if you have not already. But we will be talking about that the V Shojo thing as it unfolds next week. But let's look at like kind of the initial shit that's going on with it. So I don't want to go through the whole video of Iron Mouse. I do want to just say again, I was right. I knew that these guys were just fucking sleazy. You know, it's like when the first like one of the first people you sign is literally a fucking porn like amateur porn star. Like I think to myself like, these guys are not. This is not gonna work out. I just knew it. It's one of those things, man. Ugh. So, Michael Itanero for $5 in fake money says, "Did you see the WNBA All-Star players wearing shirts that say, 'Pay us what you owe us'? So don't pay them? Because they're running in the negative. Like, we don't owe you anything. Nobody owes you anything. You haven't earned it. Earn your fucking money. The only person that's earning anything in that league is Caitlin Clark. The only reason that anybody's paying attention to the WNBA is because of Caitlin Clark. That's it. So, let's have a look at this. Moving my Discord over here so I can access it because some people have linked me to stuff that's in it. So Iron Mouse has announced she's leaving Shojo. She claims the agency owes over $500,000 to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Iron Mouse claims that when she had her record-breaking subathon, she requested Shojo to make the donation on her behalf, but they have yet to do so. So they pocketed $500,000. Holy shit, Youngblood Ray, thank you for renewing. Almost a year, holy cow. I know, right? It's fucking wild. We're still growing, by the way. That's the crazy thing. Where are we at subscriber-wise? Let me look. Still growing. I want to keep moving these memberships. We are at 31,864 subscribers. We could end up hitting 32K maybe by the end of the month. But yeah, they pocketed $500,000 meant to go to the Immune Deficiency Foundation, I think it's called. Let's have a look at it again. Yeah, Immune Deficiency Foundation. $500,000, $500,000. They just pocketed it. They pulled a fucking completionist. They just pocketed it. The fucking what? And keep in mind, guys, Iron Mouse is one of the most popular VTubers on the planet. Like, top 3. Like, it's Gura, which has now, like, there's suddenly another fish character, guys, named Saba, and she sounds very familiar, hint, hint. You know, and then there's Iron Mouse, I would say is probably number 2. And I don't know who number 3 would be. Well, number 3 would be Hosha Marine. So, like, yeah, donate this money on the Making Myself Rich Fund. Exactly. And I made a joke. This was probably very crass of me. Servant didn't get offended, so maybe it wasn't too bad. Or maybe he just goes, oh, that's Micah for you. But I said, Project Melody could go on a global dick-sucking tour and they still wouldn't make the money back. She better be charging big time for that stuff. Coroni would definitely be in the top 10. There's Brain for 5 months. He says, Deli department needs to get its shit together. Already worked in the morning. I was in pajama pants when they called me back. Yeah, Brain and I were actually talking about playing some Space Marine 2 tonight. And then when he got called in, I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? And then I saw the news. I'm like, you know what? Let's move the Tuesday stream up to today. I didn't take a day off today, so I'm going to take a day off tomorrow instead. And, because I give myself a day off every week. Like one devoted day off. And tomorrow I want to clean. One thing that sucks. This is what sucks about being an old man. One thing that you'll notice, or, well, no, you guys probably didn't notice, but, I am getting to that age where I'm having joint pain, right? But it's mostly, like, I have it a little bit here in my left shoulder, like you probably just heard that pop. I have it a little bit in my shoulder, but it's not too terrible. Where I have the most problems are my hips, my knees, and my ankles. Because I was a power lifter in high school, and all of my best lifts were with my legs. But it puts a lot of stress on you. So, you know, there's that, plus years of boxing, tearing my meniscus, rolling my ankles several times over, playing football in the fucking mud. You know, like, I beat the shit out of my legs, when I was, like, for the first, like, 25 years of my life. So now I'm paying the dividends. I'm actually wearing compression shorts right now. Like the ones that Triple H had to wear when he tore his fucking quad. So basically, like, it's holding my pelvis together to let my hip heal so it starts feeling better. But, like, I'm at a point where, like, the inflammation's getting to a point I might have to start taking medication. But I was going to show that I'm actually wearing Under Armour compression shorts right now underneath my normal shorts. And I'll probably be having to wear these for the foreseeable future. But anyway, so reactions to this have been, like, shock. Here was Project Melody's response. I feel sick. I need to think. You are dented iron at this point? Pretty much. But, I would figure that the immediate response is, fuck these guys. They stole $500,000 from charity and put it right in their own pockets. By the way, now Iron Mouse suffers from an immune system problem, right? And that money would have gone to kids. And at this point, another thing that got put out there. Kuro and Michi took V Shojo out of their display names. Immediately out of it. Then apparently Giga has a video out where she's explaining what happens. I have not watched it. Giga's a very honest VTuber. Usually has a pretty even take on things. And look, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, if your fucking response is not "fuck these guys," then, like, tells me a lot about you. Let me see if there's any other goings on real quick. Let's have a look at the Twitter, right? Yeah, Michi did take it out of her name, but there's still the little V Shojo icon there. See what the Twitter is saying. Guess who outlives V Shojo? Darkside Phil. That is funny. Remember how V Shojo plastered this all over the Tokyo subway to brag about how well they treated their talents? Yeah. Nobody cares what Connor thinks because he's a piece of shit. Me jumping into VShojo to rescue Henya from that piece of shit company. Moist Critical has done a video on it. I can finally say I hate VShojo. You can finally say it and not get shit for it. So stuff from Zentrea. People basically are like, yeah, this is kill. Fruit has taken it out of her name, but again, she still has the icon there that links to VShojo, and it's still in her bio that she's a content creator for them. So that might just be a virtue signal. But I'm gonna just say this right now, like, whenever and I've mentioned this before, whenever a company starts having a ton of people leaving and they're being very mum's the word, and there's things like issues with management and contract disputes. I'm going to say this as somebody who has had contract disputes and issues with management before in corporate environments. You guys want to know what issues with management means? It means the bosses are fucking retarded. Basically, I have issues with management, meaning the direction of this company is fucking stupid, and I'm out of here. That's what that means. Other people will try to convince you that, oh, they're just being nice, there's nothing wrong with the company. Fucking bullshit. Absolute fucking bullshit. Second, is there was a contract dispute. What that means is I'm not getting paid what I'm being owed, and I could make more money elsewhere. Hololive is the first one, and that's why they've lost so many talents that have gone indie and are now probably going to be just as successful. Because, like, I don't really give a fuck about the past life thing. I'm not into the VTuber fucking culture. Saba's Gura. Duh. You know, Nimi Nightmare is Fauna. Duh. You know, like, there's two of the Hololive talents that left, two of the bigger ones, and they've basically, like, started to recoup everything that they lost. Like, where's Saba at now? Like, I was just watching her stream earlier. Where was she at with her subs at this point? It's pretty up there. She's at 1.3 mil. And she's gonna get back up to where she was beforehand. You know, like, let's be real. It's gonna happen. VTuber culture is just old school wrestling kayfabe. Yeah, and I don't really like playing it, to be honest with you. And if VTuber fans get mad at me over it, let's get over it, dude. Like I am too old for this shit. Do you see the gray in my fucking beard? I'm too old for this shit, okay? I'm almost 40. I'm losing my hair. I've got gray in my beard. I am fucking tired, and I'm falling apart. I do not have time for this. So, just when it comes right down to it, like, but the second one, like, the contract things, that's what we saw over and over again. Zentrea, Matara, fucking, Giga, like, all the girls that have left VShojo as of late when their contracts expired, all said the same thing. And the basic idea is like, well, I don't really need them to make money. And they're right, by the way. They don't. You know? They absolutely don't. So, you know, why do it? It's the same reason that, like, you know, I don't ever see myself, like, going to an MCN because I don't really need them to manage my channel. I wouldn't mind having management look up, like, sponsors and stuff like that to, like, for me to earn more money so that, like, it's easier to pay bills. That would be nice, but, you know, even then I wouldn't want to take them that often. It's just one of those things where it's like, you don't necessarily need these people, especially if they're not a big enough financial boon to you, or they're helping you grow and create, you know, ways for you to expand your brand, you know? And just like, again, like my whole thing with like V Shojo is like the one talent over there that I would say is like, that I like genuinely like at this point is Henya. You know, the rest of them I don't particularly care for. Because Kason can be kind of ho-ish, you know, and then Project Millie is a hoe, and then Fruit is a hoe, you know. Amelie, some people forget this, she was in on the Kick Vic thing, but she has since scrubbed her social media so people will forget that. Some people also forget that there was a time, I remember this, from Matara many, many years ago, she was a big Hassan fan. Now, she has since distanced herself from that as well, so good on her. But I remember those days, you know. So, like, it wasn't like they were full of, like, the nicest characters ever. You know? Like, it was one of those things where, like, it was one of those things where you look at it and you're like, yeah, this is doomed. This is fucking doomed. Mars Girl's still obsessed with the Kick Vit shit. Yes, she is. I saw the massive video. Like, I didn't watch it, but I saw that she put it out there. It apparently has over 100,000 views on it, but what the thing about that is that long form content kind of games the system, because what YouTube does is it counts. If you watch a long form video and you watch it for, I want to say it's like 10 minutes or longer, and then you leave and then you come back to watch more of it, that second, when you come back to it, that's another view. Because you've watched more ads during that point in time. So, and that's how they determine your payouts. So, in reality, have 100,000 individual people watch that video? No. It's the same people over and over again. And part of the reason she made it as long as she did was because, so nobody could EFAP it. Because from what I understand, a lot of people that have like watched parts of it, it's like absolute bullshit. She's also fighting for her life on TikTok. She's even more unhinged on there. Yeah, she's a crazy person. Arms Girl is very much an insane human being. She needs to be in an institution. So, let's be real, most of the time VTubers don't even need an org to be good, as with most content creation, it comes down to the quality of the content plus work ethic. Yeah. Like, this is a job. Like, it is very much a job. It's a job that I personally really enjoy. It's the best job I've ever had. But I put a lot of work in. And I have, like, for me specifically, I have a lot of ventures. You know, because I've got, I obviously run my own publishing company. On top of that, I also, you know, am a writer for it, and I'm an editor for it. So I'm doing that. I'm managing campaigns. I'm managing the budget. I'm doing estimations. I'm figuring out, you know, certain bits of logistics for how things are going to be ordered, who they're going to get sent to, how they're going to get sent there, how much money we're going to have to invest. Do I need to look into? One thing I was actually looking into earlier is I was thinking to myself, like, do I need to potentially invest in a detachable hard drive as a backup for all of the comic book files that I have on my secondary hard drive here in the Big Red Machine? Like, little things like I've got to do that all the time, on top of managing a YouTube channel where I do long form content. You know, like the video I just finished on the Carcharodons, that I edited myself, I think is a half hour long. And then we've got the stuff that Shirt Dude is doing, like the next video he does for me is going to be pretty lengthy. Let me have a look. How long was this? The G-Cox review was like 20, it was almost a half hour. Yeah, the Carcharodon's video is a half hour. And then I'm looking at, in the next month, I have a Salamanders video I'm going to do that's going to be over an hour. Like, I'll tell you right now, that's going to be fucking long. We have the next installment of Grips War. I have to do a review of Gundam Unicorn. I'm going to be fucking busy. So, fuck. So, like, it's a job. It's very much a job. And you spend a lot of time actually working. God damn, I love it. I legitimately love it. By the way, you guys ready for some good news? I have good news. I have very good news. Speaking of work, going at that one video I posted weeks ago, took me and others over 3 hours to go over with the skipping parts in the first half. You're not getting it as a job. Yeah. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. I have good news. I posted a cryptic tweet. Because I do cryptic things. Because I'm great like that. Soon. By the way, that art is fucking dope. For those who don't know what this is, I have a comic book series called Inglewood. Inglewood is a story about a crime fighter in Chicago, modern day Chicago, that deals with the gang violence that goes on there. He's a former mixed martial artist who basically just threw on a costume to go beat ass. And he got dubbed the Saint of the neighborhood that he started in, which is called Inglewood in Chicago. Which, I'll show you where Inglewood is. It is one of the poorest neighborhoods in town. It's not too far from Hyde Park and Sherman Park. But it's right here, basically in the middle of gangland. And it's on the south side of town. This is not really a safe place to be. But Inglewood is all this area right here. So this is where he starts. And the thing about Inglewood and the thing about this stuff. Let me actually show off some of the art here. This is the cover for book 2. This was the original cover for book 1. And then this is the second cover for book 1. But it is effectively, if you are a fan of Daredevil, if you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of Iron Fist, or Black Panther, this is right up your alley. If you miss it when those stories used to be competently written, you know, these are the books for you. This is the second cover for Inglewood Book 1. From my dude, Preston Acevedo. Oh, this is for Inglewood Book 2, rather. Love the color work on this. And the thing about Inglewood is that we 2 years ago, we had the book funded. We were ready. We had started the printing process. And in the process, and while we were dealing with another issue that was going on, money got stolen from under our noses, and PayPal could not recover it. They recovered a little bit, but not very much. And we tried to communicate with the bank that the money was transferred to by the guy that stole it. They refused to talk to us because we didn't have an account with them, which was really fucking weird. We tried to get the police involved. They told us go talk to somebody else because it's across state lines. So the Fed has to get involved. So we put in a report with the FBI. And you want to know what happens with things like this when you get money hacked away from your account? They take your case, they take the information, and they add it to another list of things that go on. And if they need more information from you, they might contact you. Maybe. So all the money to print and ship the second Inglewood book, on top of all the money to finish the production of 3 Nights, 4 Days Part 2, was stolen. Over $10,000. Stolen by some fucking asshole in the Balkans. And I have not been able until recently to start getting work to be able to recoup the losses and get these books done. The good news that I have, the last thing that needed printing was the reprints of the original Inglewood with this cover. I took an editing gig recently helping a guy with some stuff for college, and he paid me very well alongside some other money that I've been saving up. And I have placed an order for those final books that I need. Hatman is also sending me mailing material. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start packing up all of the orders. And then, once I have the money to ship them, we will ship them. I just don't... shipping is going to cost another, $3,000. And I don't have that kind of money sitting around right now. Now, I do have some things coming in that will help with this. Because YouTube... the money I make off YouTube is enough to pay my bills. Internet, food, all that rent, all that shit. But making extra money has been difficult, and the economy in Illinois is shit. And other places in the country are seeing economic growth. This state is not. We are not in a good spot. So work opportunities have been just not there, So the good news is that we're at that point. The other good news that I have is that provided I can get some identification issues worked out, I have a novella that will be coming out very soon as well. Specifically on August 1st. Cover is not much to show, but it is here. It's called Everything Went Black. It is a horror novella It's less than 100 pages. That we will be selling on Kindle for only $5. And $8 for the physical copy. That's it. Selling it super cheap. And on top of that, on August 1st, for those of you out there who have wanted to read my books, but also have not really had the opportunity to do so, Inglewood Book 1 and 3 Nights, 4 Days Part 1 will be available on the Kindle, on the Kindle store as well. Digital only for now. So that way you can take them on the road with you. So yeah, August 1st. Now what I want to do, this is a supernatural horror book. What I want to do, and I'm going to do this with some help from other people, is, and again, I got to get this identification thing worked out. If I don't get it worked out, the book's not coming out yet. It'll be at a later date. But if all goes well, what we will do is I'm going to get together with as many people as I can, try to get info out there. I want to see if we can turn this into an Amazon bestseller. I mean, I've got a 30,000 subscriber YouTube channel. I think we could maybe pull it off. So yeah. Grindstone is moving forward, guys. And like I promised, we're finding ways to get comics and novels and stuff like that into more people's hands, making sure that they are top notch. So this is just another one. I wrote it. Hatman has edited it, and once I've got confirmation that it's ready for Kindle pre-order, I'll go ahead and start putting that out there as well, getting that link out, and we will be good. All right. That is all I had for today. Before we go, I'm going to send you guys over to the homie. So we'll be over there hanging out with Lolly. And yeah. Pretty good fucking stream. Thank you to those of you who have been liberal with your gifting of super chats and memberships. I very much appreciate it. Every little bit helps. And I will be back next week with another stream, probably on Tuesday instead of Monday. And we'll talk about more crazy stuff going on in the world. But until next time, have yourselves a good one. And remember, tell Lolly in his chat, Micah raid when you see him. And I will see you guys over there. Take care.